There are some things I didn't have enough time to really go deeply into. One of those is related to why we'll do this kind of design in the first place. Just because we can make a collective inquiry lesson, why is that a good idea for classrooms? Why do we want to move learning in this direction, or what is motivating me to push into that way? And for me, there were two real motivations. One of them was the experience that I had when the new ways of social web started emerging, the Web 2.0, and we began to feel essentially the power that comes from other members of a community all contributing ideas and building on ideas. It really felt to me like this was worth investigating for a new way of learning. The other one has to do with society. Society is moving in new directions in terms of the workplace, in terms of what it means to be a citizen. Nowadays, you cannot be an effective citizen without knowing how to solve problems, critique resources, find resources, think critically about an argument that somebody's making to you, collaborate with your peers. And so these kinds of learning, they fit well within this knowledge community approach. So I felt confident that at least the ways that we're pursuing are consistent with 21st century learning. They're offering teachers a new possible method for learning science and maybe other topics as well. I've been thinking a lot about where to go next with this work, and I have one idea obviously is to continue the exact same projects and do a second or a third iteration and try to make them even better for learning, and that might be one possibility. Two other ways that we're looking at that are very exciting. One of them is the MOOC construct. MOOCs have appeared, and MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Course. MOOCs have appeared in the last 5 years or so as a very exciting new approach to learning. It's learning for the sake of learning. So these are typically altruistic ways where you can have 10,000 people that want to join a course. It occurred to us early in the MOOC movement that a lot of times these 10,000 were very isolated and individual in their experience of learning. Click here, watch a video, click here, make a reflection, solve this problem. Maybe you could have one peer critique or so. But that the interesting idea was that MOOC with that big of a number could be a very interesting knowledge community in its own right. So because we have that many, we might have some really interesting special interest groups. And we could try to use the same kind of technologies that I presented today to create organized groups that could essentially build a knowledge base of their own collectively, use that knowledge base for scaffolded inquiry activities. And we have indeed, we just finished designing a MOOC like this, and we ran it with K-12 teachers from around the world. We had more than 1,000 who actively went through the course, and we used KCI as the basis for designing. So this is one interesting new area, and a student of mine, Stian Haklov, is doing his PhD study on that design. Another interesting new direction for me is what they call active learning. So active learning, you're going to hear more and more in the world. This is related to another phrase called flipped classrooms. When you flip your classroom, basically you're asking your students to go home and watch lecture videos or read the textbook and get the content that way. But then when they come to class, they don't get a lecture, but rather they, in a way, almost do their homework. So they're working with their peers very actively to solve problems. The teacher, instead of lecturing, is in fact moving around the room and more of a tutor to help the students who need the help and to help students help each other. So it's a very exciting movement. I think you're hearing more about it in the sciences and engineering. Famous universities like MIT have flipped their physics instruction. You have many physics and engineering programs that are going this way. So in my own work, I feel that this knowledge community approach or collective inquiry could offer a way to design active learning. Many times I think when an instructor decides to flip their classroom, they're surprised because it's fairly easy to get the lecture content at home, but then when the students come to school and they suddenly have them in the room, they realize that it's not straightforward what to do with all of this new time. And just saying we're going to do homeworks is not, it's often going to fall short of what you really have the opportunity. So KCI and the models that I have could be an interesting way to actually design coherent experiences for the active learning classroom. So that's another direction that I can imagine I would go with all of this. Well, this is a conference about new media, and I think one thing everyone is aware of is that with new media come new forms of interaction. So we can have personalized experiences, the Internet of Things, locationally sensitive devices. We can have collaboration in many new ways. We can have large displays that are touch surfaces. We can have proximity centered. And I think there's a wide interest in all of these kind of features that are cropping up around the world. My work might offer a very strong set of examples about how these new media could come into almost a recipe for learning. I don't know if it's the only way that you can work with these media, but I think it's very helpful for the conference to see somebody from another discipline or education that's taking these media and these devices and putting them into very focused applications. There are several ways that I think I make connections to this community, the community that you have brought together here for GMW. First of all, as a researcher, I guess one thing I can offer is the new approaches of design-based research that we work with, the situated research in the classroom context, the real-world context, the fact that we involve the teacher as a research designer. For me, I think these can be an important contribution to the research community to see the way that you can situate a study in a real classroom. I've been doing work like this with the learning sciences community here at LMU University, and working with Frank Fischer and his colleagues from psychology, that they can offer formal scripting theories of guidance, and I can take advantage of those and add them to my research studies in the classroom. So I think it's another great example for the interdisciplinary aspects of the work that we can offer to the wider GMW community. My field is the learning sciences. Learning sciences is related to education, but it's also related to educational psychology. We're fundamentally interested in the scientific pursuit of an understanding about learning and instruction, as well as an understanding about the context of learning, the physical environment, the curricular environment. The learning sciences was founded in approximately 1990 as a field that is fundamentally interdisciplinary. It includes contributions from computer science, contributions from cognitive psychology, educational psychology, education itself, and a wide range of technology areas. So in that regard, it's a great example of how the disciplines can come together to facilitate the study of something extremely difficult. I don't know any field, maybe politics, that would be as difficult as studying learning. It's very situational, it's very social, it's institutionally sensitive, and so the learning sciences has a tough road to make progress on, and the interdisciplinarity is one of the defining characteristics, and that way I think my work should show the benefits of the types of areas that I've been able to draw upon. Information science is another one. So if there's something that people in the audience here can see, it is that when you're collaborating, when you're creating partnerships, you don't make these projects by yourself. So you need technology designers, you need information scientists, you need scientific discipline specialists, and all of them come together to make a product or an experience. So one interesting aspect of my presentation today was I was able to show 3 or 4, maybe even 5 different examples of user experiences that we created for the classroom. And maybe the participants could see in that spread of examples, they could see, that one possible approach is to develop something that's really meant for, an intervention purposes or meant for some users to experience. And when you start down that road, you find yourself connecting to people from other disciplines that you need in order to make those designs really effective. It's an interesting question how to make progress in multidisciplinary partnership. I think one thing that I've found very nice and very helpful is to attend other conferences from other disciplines. So for example, the Human-Computer Interaction Conference, or CHI, C-H-I, has been extremely helpful for me because you go and you're able to see how that community defines its own sense of progress. What are its important values? What are its important variables? You also see incredible new ideas, and they come from periphery. So I've had wonderful experiences learning about the work in human-computer interaction that have inspired me to try different things. So just opening new pathways for thinking, you also meet new people. In fact, that's how I've met my own collaborators, is by one path leads to another, and the next thing you meet somebody who's a perfect fit for the work that you want to do, or you didn't even know you wanted to do.